the big picture, and I guess the goal is to help bring our clients to the other side of life's most difficult moments, help them navigate a system that they're at a disadvantage in for the most part. Hey, nobody.
Good. Hey, thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah, no problem, man. What's going
Um,
on?
Not much at all. I'm trying to get some continuing education done today, so it's all online. So I'm doing it on my iPad, and
We got to do it every year too. Yeah, it's a lot of work. But actually, I met my wife in Brussels at a European Union law seminar. She's also an attorney.
heck yeah, that's all. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's we were doing a seminar in European Union law in Brussels in Belgium, and met. She also went to SLU, but we really didn't know each other, and the rest is history, as they say.
Thanks for doing this. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell me about the practice.
Yeah, my name is Aaron Haber. I'm an attorney here in St. Louis. I've been an attorney for almost 18 years. My firm is Muchnick Haber Margolis. Personally, I grew up in Central Illinois. Here, I did my undergrad out in Oregon. Lived out there, and I guess spent part of my time out there in undergrad in Spain and Mexico, and then moved back to St. Louis to go to law school after I spent a year working for the May Company.
We, in the course of our work, in the course of us being small business people, how we do things allows others to unleash the potential in themselves. How can we with the skill set that we have, how can we give that to others and allow them to have better, more fulfilling lives?
So what we really do is we focus on personal injury cases. And what does that mean? It's a little bit more than someone just being hurt. It's understanding how that stuff like that happens, how it can be prevented. And that's sort of what we do. We litigate a variety of cases. I spend a good chunk of my time doing tractor trailer cases.
You focus mostly on more tractor trailer type cases. Why is that?
Well, as a firm, we handle all different types of injury cases. It could be construction defect cases, which is like a deck collapse maybe, or auto accidents. But I happen to enjoy doing tractor trailer cases and sort of learning about the industry's interesting. I'm someone who's into rules as being a lawyer.
Yeah.
So there's the federal motor carrier safety regulations that
It's
you really have.
thick.
It's thick, and drivers have to know them, and the companies have to know them. And I sort of got interested in it, some years ago, and the cases have, continued. Unfortunately, they continue to get more tragic as we get them, but they're the types of cases where you can dig in and be interested and feel like you're helping somebody, because unfortunately these are 50,000-pound vehicles or more versus 3,000-pound vehicles, and unfortunately it ends up in the loss of life sometimes. So when you deal with these types of cases, you get to dig into the meat of what happened, and then you get to sort of try to get through people to the other side of what's really the probably darkest days of their lives. So that's sort of how we got there.
It's nice being the helping hand to that. Something that came up yesterday, because we do the DOT physicals for the drivers to keep them compliant on the medical side of things, and often they're broken, so they say, hey, can you fix me chiropractically? And one of them was in yesterday, and he just got a brand new rig. And we were talking about, it just came up about all the automatic trucks, all the auto drivers. Are you seeing that creep into the industry, or what's the talk going on that?
Well, over the last maybe 3 to 5 years, I think there's been a discussion about, are there really going to be automated, tractor trailers on the highway? At some point, I thought I read something about Tesla maybe trying to make some. I haven't really seen that really start. I don't really think they're really on the road yet. But you sort of mentioned technology.
Yeah,
technology is really it's pretty impressive. There's a lot of data out there. When you get into these cases, you realize that there's electronic log books for, truckers have to have a certain amount of hours. They can only drive a certain amount of hours in a given
Correct.
time frame. They have to have a certain hours of rest. So there's, they have these systems that are, you're supposed to electronically keep track of that stuff for the most part, with minor exceptions. And you think you know what's going on when you're digging into one of these cases, and you can figure out whether a driver was fatigued or not. Recently, we've learned, how to deal with what's called telematics. Aside from there being electronic logging, these trucks have these sensors and programs in them where you can see how fast they're going every 3 seconds, where they are on the road. It is a micromanaged industry. It's pretty interesting.
That's awesome. So the good old days of back in the, call it the 70s and 80s, when guys are stopping into the diner, getting another jug of coffee and saying, I got to make it to California by the morning. I'll get there, and popping a couple of red eye pills and I'm out the door. Those are long gone.
Unfortunately, I wish they were. What we've seen in some of our cases is that the logbook show one thing, but you get into, the more complicated tracking systems, and you realize, well, their logs are off, but they're actually still driving, and you can cross-reference cell phone records, and you'll figure,
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But I would like to say it's getting safer. The more systems that are out there to track things, I think, it's going to be safer. That's ultimately the goal of all of it, and that's really what we do, is to help try to keep people accountable, and hope the next time it doesn't happen. And that's sort of what we try to live by.
And I think that's true. I think that's the bigger picture of it all is, listen, if things were truly safe, there are genuine accidents, but over the course of time, if we can take the broad set of those accidents and still push them down to a minimal, as minimal with, as much human error, that's completely in God's hands, it makes our world a safer place.
That's the idea. I'm sure you see it when you do those DOT physicals. It's a tough job. It's bad on people's backs. There's not a lot of good eating opportunities for these drivers, and it's a tough job. And I do recognize that and appreciate that.
Yeah, it's tough. One of the ones that the guy yesterday, he was like, I just want to stay home with my family, but I picked up another load. I got to go to Cincinnati tomorrow again.
Right.
Like, I just want to stay home. I just want to be with my family. It's a tough job. It really is. It really is. Aaron, I want you to tell me about really the vision of the company, with your practice. What's going on with like overall, what's the big picture looking like?
The big picture, and I guess the goal, is to help bring our clients to the other side of life's most difficult moments, help them navigate a system that they're at a disadvantage in, for the most part.
Yes.
So the vision is to continue to try to do that and do it better. How we get there, I think the vision really is, how do we work hard but efficiently, to get people through these tough times. And I think that's always something that we're trying to figure out. For me, when I started, it was, I can work harder than everyone, and that's going to give our clients an advantage. And you learn a lot by doing that. But the more you do, you realize you really got to be efficient. And outworking everyone isn't the end all be all. You got to be smart about it. So that's the vision. We want to continue to have a trusted reputation from our clients and other lawyers. We get a fair amount of our cases that are referred from other lawyers, which is always the highest compliment you can get, other than I recently had a defendant who I tried a case against and got a judgment against refer me a case, because they were
Aaron, you did a really good job on that case.
Yeah, I must have. So that the vision is to continue with that, and then ultimately to keep individualized attention to clients in an industry when it's often argued that bigger is better, because that's not always the case. And that's sort of a roundabout vision, a couple different things. But that's I was thinking about that, and that's sort of where I am with it right now.
Aaron, you said something that just a second ago that resonated with me. It's helping your clients through an industry or a situation that they really have no idea what they're getting themselves into. And it's just like, for us, like whenever we get car accident patients in our office, yes, I can fix the physical stuff. That we do that all the time. I'm not saying it's when I say it's easy, that's our bread and butter. That's what we do. But it's getting them into the insurance company's calling me. I got to get the car repaired. I've got to do this, this, and this. I've got to get Johnny to soccer practice. Like there's all these other events that this accident has occurred that oftentimes they need help with, and having someone like you, having good representation is a helps them on one step of that healing process.
Yeah, you're right. It's our normal goal is to help someone get to a place where they're, navigating the system, getting their physical ailments taken care of, and then getting the best recovery for them given the circumstances and facts. But there's a lot more than just the, like you said, than us helping them through that part. They often want to know about things that we don't really, that's not our specialty, but I've seen it so much that I can tell you, well, here's what you need to do, right? Like you said, the property damage stuff, which I realize is a extreme pain in the, for many people. So it's all encompassing. We do a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot to have to, I mean, well, again, in the days when people think like, oh, you're just here to battle the insurance company. No, I mean, it just, we're so ingrained with what we need to help our patients, and we have resources to help them too. We're not just here, sign the paperwork, here's your check. No, there's so much more involved with that. And that's what makes you guys good. So makes you guys good.
Really offering to lend an ear to whoever.
Yeah.
I find that it's often a question is, oh, well, what do we owe you? Or what do I owe you for this? And if it's asking questions, and it's nothing. I mean, people think that they have to pay a lawyer for anything. And I would tell you, we're here to offer, I can't necessarily give legal advice to anyone, but I'm happy to talk to anybody about the situations that they may find themselves in. And if I can't help and fix it, I can get them to the right person, and that doesn't cost. So I would say, what would we offer? An ear to listen to, a helping hand, and that's sort of what we do, and we're happy to do it.
Aaron, I think that's perfect. When it comes to kind of branch this into physical health, mental health, emotional health, how important is health to you personally, to your teammates, to the overall productivity, and really, what are you doing to keep yourselves and your team optimized, well, and burnout free?
Question. We really have we have a group of people who are active in a variety of ways. One of my partners skis a lot. He's got a place out in Park City, plays a lot of golf. One of my other partners just competed in an 8-hour outdoor adventure race, which was trekking and mountain biking and paddling and orienteering. And we've got some of our support staff here who are really into bar classes, which
Nice.
they drugged me to one of them, and it was very hard.
How are your hips feeling after that bar class?
Oh man, the hamstrings and the hips.
Yeah.
It was humbling. I thought that I was in shape, but that's a different kind of in shape. So we're really fortunate that when I really think about it as a group, and even we're as a group outside of the office, just do things on our own, and that I think that does put people in a better mental space because of the habits that you form, and doing things that you enjoy, like running or playing basketball or even lifting weights. That's helped me to where I don't really have to worry too much about continuing to do those things, and making yourself do them makes you a better attorney. It makes you better at the office. You set a better example for those around you. And we're fortunate in our office. When I think about it, I'm thinking about we do have stand-up desks for a lot of our employees here, which I would hope everyone uses, and I could use more myself. But as that, we like to try to help people with that. But thinking about your question, right? It's a good question to think what we could do as a group to maybe get some team building to do some active things together. But overall, active group, which helps for mental health, and I think it helps everyone in their sanity. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Aaron, is there anything you would want to add, you would want our St. Louis community to know?
Like I said, we're here to help our clients. We're here to get individualized attention. Bigger is not better always. We take pride in what we do. We're hard workers, and call us. It doesn't cost anybody anything to call and ask us the question, and we're just here to try to help people and counsel people.
Nice. Love it. Well, Aaron, thank you for doing this podcast with me, man. I really appreciate you. So thank you for
Awesome.
doing it.
Likewise. Thanks, Joe.